at Miami. Basically the same staff as last year on offense. So just like having that continuity, how helpful is that?
I mean, it's extremely helpful. I mean, going through the off season and watching cut-ups and getting on the same page is a lot easier and a lot quicker. We already know basically what we're doing. Everybody understands the process around here, and so now it's all about really, some off-the-wall case studies and some stuff we want to add to it. But overall offense, I mean, we do what we do, right? And so with everybody coming back, it's just the learning curve obviously keeps going.
Carson, I know obviously in your background, but just what stood out to you about his first week? And since he's gotten here, trying to build a rapport with guys even when he's not able to maybe do everything that he would obviously want to do.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's a unique situation, surely, but I mean, his football IQ is really high. You can tell just in meetings and talking football with him. And I think it's important for him to just get injected with the team. Just be around those guys and build rapport. I mean, the way football is now, it's different every year, right? So the team building part of it's huge. So we got to just accelerate that as much as possible.
Is it fair to say last year you had a pretty veteran team? This year, young talent maybe ready to emerge? Is this that year or a bunch of new names?
Yeah, I mean, at certain positions, surely. I mean, I do think that the strength of our offense is up front, and that's honestly, that was the truth last year, too. So we have a lot of guys that played a lot of football up front. We have some guys that haven't played as much football on the periphery in the skill position. So, yeah, true there, but I do think up front we have a lot of snaps.
Speaking of young guys, outside JoJo Trader, had a kind of breakout game in the bowl game. Yep. What have you seen from him so far this spring?
A lot of the same, and really throughout the course of last year, you could tell. He showed glimpses of being a player that could be really elite right now. But consistency is one thing that we all have to work on, and he's really, really steady in what he does because he's been here for a while. And for a while, I say for a year, right? And so he knows what to do. He's very capable, and so he just needs to just keep banking reps, really.
And then I want to ask you about Malachi Tony. You're known for having a lot of productive slots, Tank Dell, Xavier Shep. What have been your early impressions of him?
I mean, he should be in high school still, so that's kind of shocking. But physically, he's way more accelerated than most kids that are at his age. Mentally, I would say so too. I mean, his mental toughness and the way he competes is a little bit different than a brand new guy, and so he's picked up on things really fast. I mean, his football IQ is high. He's really a low rep guy. Like, he does something or sees something on tape, and he has the ability to mimic it and do it. So, excited about his future, really.
Shannon, do you find yourself coaching the receivers any differently? As you mentioned, veteran guys the year before, younger guys now. Are you coaching or teaching differently or at all?
I mean, I don't know about differently, but you do take into account that, they haven't played a lot of football. And so, you start back over basically every year. And when you have guys that have played a lot of snaps, it's easier. I would say easier. I mean, it's I don't know if anything's easier. It is a little bit different, though, because they're going to go through some trial and errors that all those other guys went through, right, to get to where they need to get. That's why banking reps is so important. Just keep repping. It's no different in the day. I mean, at times it looked pretty decent today, and at times it looked really bad, and so you learn from both of those reps at every position. And so, but they'll keep growing. I mean, we also have the luxury of some of those guys learned a lot from the guys that played a lot of snaps last year, and so we'll see if they take advantage of that, that learning curve. But we do have a lot of young kids that are really talented.
Coach, how has Ray developed, and what's the next step for him?
Just keep doing what he's doing, and opportunities in the game. Really, just keep doing what you're doing. And football is a strange sport in the sense that Restrepo was a pretty good player, and so he played behind him for 2 years, and now it's his turn to take it and run with it,
Speaking of banking reps, how valuable of an opportunity is Carson out for Emery, Luke, and Judd to kind of progress this spring?
Oh, I mean, obviously it's invaluable. Reps are the main thing, and so those guys are getting 1s, 2s, 3s, 1s, 2s, 3s, and they're taking advantage of it. Obviously, we haven't had a lot of. We only had 3 practices, so we haven't had a ton of reps. But it is it's crucial to their development for sure.
And with Luke, I mean, you guys identified him pretty early, and he committed in like August 2023 before he started his junior year. So, what did you see in him when you were recruiting him, and how did you like his progression through high school?
Well, I mean, accuracy first of all. I mean, he was extremely accurate throwing the football. It looked easy for him, and he was a winner. He hadn't lost a football game in 2 years, and so those 2 things are high on the list evaluating quarterbacks. And then when you dig into the mental part of it and get in depth with his knowledge of football and the way he views the game, his attitude and the way he goes about leadership, he's very calm. And so all those things kind of added up to me liking him a lot. And you can see the same thing here. Now the game is really right now it's fast. And so, but you can tell over 3 practices that it's slowed down. Starting to slow down already, and he has to keep in mind that he's playing with a lot of guys that are going through a very similar curve. The game is faster. When you first get somewhere and you're learning something, you're not playing instinctive. You're up there on the line of scrimmage still thinking about, oh, what the hell is the reads of this play, right? And so I'm sure last year at high school, a play was called and he inherently knew the reads and everything was very instinctive. It hadn't got that way yet, and it shouldn't be that way yet because he hasn't had enough reps. But you can tell that the game has slowed down. Very talented thrower of the football, very talented player. But it will keep slowing down the more reps he takes.
We'll do 3 more questions from Coach Dawson.
Is it getting harder now to keep 4 really good quarterbacks on a roster with the transfer portal?
Yeah, I mean, I think it used to be you wanted 5. Now it's probably 3 to 4. We're very fortunate. Our quarterback room is really talented, and so I do think it's very hard to keep guys. 4 is probably a number that if you got 4, you better feel lucky. 3 is probably more realistic.
Coach, the end of week 1. What are some of the key points you want to see out of the offense this week?
I mean, there really isn't any. I mean, right now we're trying to get everything installed, and we're trying to get young guys on the same page with, hey, these are the formation adjustments, these are the motions, these are the plays. And that way, now we've basically kind of flooded them this week. We flooded them with all the plays and all the stuff. And now when we come back after spring break, we'll redo it, but then it'll be just about reps. We're just repping the same things over and over again. These first 3 practices are probably the hardest for new guys because it's just opening up the dam and just, hey, this is all the information, day 1, day 2, day 3, and then we'll keep doing it with a little bit of additions when we start doing more red zone or more like situational stuff out there. We'll add a certain amount of plays, but the core of our offense is probably in. And so right now it's more of, hey, getting those guys to calm down a little bit, take a breath, and really watch the film and come back after spring break. Spring break, we've all been on spring break. So, we're probably not starting over from day 1, but like starting over from day half of 1 probably.
Coach, just curious your thoughts on the running back room and just what you have depth-wise there?
That's probably one of the deepest rooms we have. I mean, all of them have a little bit different skill sets, I would say. But for the stuff we ask them to do, they're all built really well. Some of them are a little bit bigger than other ones, but they all have, the ability to make plays. And more importantly, it's a fun room to be around. Like, they all support each other, which is huge. Now, we talked about that last year a lot. But with rooms that are really talented, it's important for those guys to have a rapport and be happy when Pringle makes a play, or be happy when Jordan makes a play, be happy when Mark makes a play. And so all those guys are going to have opportunities for sure.
And with the tight end room, obviously lost a lot of the production from last year. So what role do you kind of perceive for Elijah Lofton, and what do you want to see this spring out of the freshmen and like Alex Bauman and Jack Nickel?
Yeah, I mean, Lofton obviously played a significant amount last year, made plays in games. His role will continue increasing, probably more so of, the role Elijah played, more snaps in the game. But we did add some guys that are really talented, and so they just got to keep repping and keep learning. But, that room, a lot like the running back room, will be, you know, a room that people play. You know, we're not going to sit there and just play one guy. You know, you see last year, I mean, we wrote a lot of guys in there, and so it probably at times, you know, Elijah probably could have had 65 catches if we didn't, but it got spread around a little bit. I like that. I like spreading the ball around and getting guys touches. It also helps keeping kids, right? And so a lot of that matters.
Did you have to fight Jason Taylor for who gets to coach Brock Schott?
I would not fight Jason Taylor.
We'll end it there. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.